Welcome to Take 5 with AWS and PwC. Dan Priest here of PwC Cloud and Digital. I am delighted to be joined by special guest and AWS ambassador, Scott Weber, for a lightning round style conversation around today's topic, how to create a stronger connection between business and IT leadership. Scott, welcome.
Thanks, Dan. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you. So, tech leaders such as the CIO, CTO, they're leaning in to shape the overarching business strategy more than ever when it comes to cloud-powered business transformation. Creating a stronger connection between that business and IT leadership, it's really important. We all recognize that. To start, how can tech leaders more effectively sell the idea of an ambitious transformation to the business? How can they communicate that projected ROI? Any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, this is a great question, Dan, and we're actually helping a lot of our customers with this as they look to undertake these transformational activities. And zeroing in on ROI is really the key, but there's some nuances to really defining that ROI well. And from what we've seen in working with our customers, you have to be very straightforward in how you're going about doing this. So things like you need to define what your costs are going to be to undertake this. And that can be costs in terms of, how many headcount are you going to need to do a project? Are you going to have to do training to help your team get up to speed and understand this new technology space that they're moving into with AWS? Also things like understand what are your run rate savings going to be. So are you currently in the data center still looking to get into the cloud? Are you in the cloud but need to modernize what's setting in the cloud and take it to sort of that cloud native architectures of things like Lambda, serverless, cloud built databases? And so especially if you're already in the cloud, your cloud expenses are OpEx. So as you can drive down those run rate savings, that can be a huge thing for the business, right? So you want to understand where your run rate savings are going to come from. One area that can be really tricky for organizations is understanding your soft costs that factor into that ROI calculation. So the prime example I like to use here is if I have a DBA, a database administrator, the value of that database administrator is not in managing the databases. The value is in him helping your development teams get the most out of the databases. So optimizing data models, optimizing query performance. And so as we help our customers move to platform services for databases and things like that, now we free up the DBA role to really focus on those higher ROI values to the business. But then also define what the long-term benefits are going to be to the business. So as we go through this transformation, are we going to be able to release faster? Are we going to be able to get more features out in a shorter period of time? These are things that mean things to the business. It's not always a dollar value, but how fast can we now make the business move? And those are our long-term benefits that we want to target. We also talk to customers about, over the next couple of years, your IT spend may look the same while you're going through this transformational process, because we like to talk to the customers about this idea of a flywheel of reinvestment. So through our first modernization, we may take X amount of cost out of the operation of the application stack, but we're going to reinvest that into doing the next round of modernization. But what will eventually happen is you'll hit a point where there'll be almost a step function in cost savings, right, as we've done all these modernizations. But we really want to take that money and reinvest it to continue to optimize to get the most out of the activity.
Yeah, maybe to continue to build on that, when the business embarks on that transformation, how should tech leaders continue to show value? How do they get the payoff the business expects? So that's a good technical recommendation, but how do they get the payoff for the business? What's important to capture sort of the hearts and minds of the business stakeholder?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that goes back to communication, right? And being very transparent in what is going on, right? So if you're following an agile approach to undertaking these things, are you demoing to your business the improvements that you put into the platform? Are you making it real for them of how this work is going to directly impact, the thing that they're most worried about? And that really comes from communication, right? And whether it's the ceremonies that you're following in a Scrum Agile approach, or there are other ways, but those are where we really see it, is that if you're doing 2-week sprints, so every other week, you're demoing to the business the new things of value that you put into the platform for them.
Scott, those were great insights, super valuable takeaways for our listeners. Thanks so much for taking 5 with us. Until next time.